Welcome. Thank you for your attendance. We, as an NFL organization, would like to address the controversial issues at hand today. But first, we would like to address our officers. Zane Arnett, our Chief Executive Officer. Sydney Beasley, which is me, I'm the Chief Operations Officer. Abigail Dirksing, she is our Chief Financial Officer. Curtis Spalding, who is our Chief Administrative Officer. And Vic Peroni, our Chief Technical Officer.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Zane Arnett, your NFL CEO. And before we begin, I would like to first discuss some background information so everyone can understand the gravity of the situation. In 2016, San Francisco's 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick, as seen above, took it upon himself to stop standing for the national anthem to protest that African Americans are treated unfairly by officers of the law in disproportional numbers that are historically higher than we typically see. And the officers in this situation typically went through the process with minimal repercussions for engaging in the killings or other violent attacks. The decision to kneel, which has a history in civil rights protests and can be witnessed throughout the history as a form of respect, however, immediately there was major backlash against Colin and his teammates. He soon became a free agent without a job for the 2017 and 2018 NFL season, even while other athletes were supporting his same message across the league. The issue even became more heated when the president, Donald Trump, went on national television and called out the protesters and even called upon the National Football League to fire any players in the league that refrained from standing to salute our flag. NFL teams all had different responses to this claim, but most rebutted with solidarity for their teammates. Us, as the NFL organization, later made it abundantly clear its league-wide policy was not going to fire players who engaged in peaceful sideline protests. Many individuals vowed to proceed with the boycott of the NFL, and Kaepernick still remained unsigned for the season and filed a complaint against the league. In his complaint, he alleged that the teams worked together to keep him off the field, and this has led to severe backlash from fans and even sparked a debate about peaceful protest. Next, I would like to show a little clip from a recent game that happened, and it kind of displays the reaction that the fans had to them kneeling during the game.
It's a disgrace. They should be standing. I like what the president said.
Yeah.
If you're not going to stand for this country, you're fired.
Yeah.
Belichick, the crowd should do something about it.
As you can tell, they didn't take the kneeling very well, and that's why we are all here today.
So the problem at hand is that players are receiving backlash for protesting police brutality and domestic violence by kneeling during the national anthem before the games. This is resulting in a decline of viewership, and companies are pulling ads. This is decreasing the league's ad revenue. So what happens is that this separates our two. This separates into two different groups. We have the people that are for, the people that are kneeling, the people that are against it. Of course, the people that are kneeling are exercising their right to protest, and the people that are against it, they believe that you should not be kneeling during the national anthem. And so this graph displays where 2016, where this first began, there's a massive decline in our TV audience. So as you can see, there was 17.9 million views at the end of 2014, and now at 2016, there's 16.5 million. So there's a massive decrease in our viewers, which then pulls our ad revenue because they're not seeing near as many viewers as they want to, and is a decrease in our revenue.
Hello, my name is Abby Dirksing, and I will be talking about the research findings. According to ESPN's Stephen A. Smith, until 2009, in a new presidential administration after 9/11, players weren't on the field for the national anthem and instead generally remained in the locker room. According to Smith, the switch happened because it considered a marketing strategy to make the athletes look more patriotic. NFL ratings were down about 10% for the first 3 weeks of the season, which started September 7th with about 15.8 million viewers compared to 17.6 million during the first 3 weeks of 2016, according to data. That follows a trend last year of viewership during 2016 regular season when ratings fell 8%. During this past week of games after Trump's remarks, NFL viewership fell 4% from the prior week. The results of the protest has led to a historical drop in amounts of people turning in to watch football. TheBlaze.com did a study where they calculated that the NFL has seen an overall drop in viewership, with Fox Sports at a 7% decrease in NFL viewers, CBS reporting a 17% dip for Sunday games and an 8% decrease in viewership for Thursday games, and a 4% drop for NBC's Sunday Night Football.
In this day and age of social media, Twitter has become increasingly important to the national anthem protests, especially with President Trump taking to Twitter to tweet at most of the NFL players that are kneeling and protesting. I believe it was September 24th, Trump went on a tweeting spree, and that day the national anthem protest peaked at just over 180 players kneeling for the national anthem. This is our Twitter, at NFL__protests, and our most recent tweet shows this past week in the NFL, week 13, there were 23 players that were kneeling for the national anthem, a large decrease. And this actually comes after the NFL offered to fund important causes in the African American community over a 5 to 6 year period of $100 million to end the protests.
Okay, so now we're going to show a little clip of Trump speaking about the issue. It just shows his view on it, and we want to represent that, of course, because he is our president.
Well, I wasn't preoccupied with the NFL. I was ashamed of what was taking place because to me that was a very important moment. I don't think you can disrespect our country, our flag, our national anthem. To me, the NFL situation is a very important situation. I've heard that before about was I preoccupied? Not at all, not at all. I have plenty of time on my hands. All I do is work. And to be honest with you, that's an important function of working. It's called respect for our country. It doesn't take me long to put out a wrong, and maybe we'll get it right. I think it's a very important thing for the NFL to not allow people to kneel during the playing of our national anthem, to respect our country and to respect our flag. Okay? Thank you.
As you can tell from this clip, Trump is obviously against it.
Pixel too.
Can I take a selfie just by saying take a selfie?
He saw,
Take a selfie.
sorry for the technical difficulties, he saw that he was against it. He thought that they should be fired, was one of his comments, but he also addressed it as an important national topic that everyone needs to think about, that we need to honor our national anthem. But because of all this and the social media that we've seen reactions from several different people, not just from our own Twitter, but we also noticed that other people are tweeting too. So we've taken it in advance and we've tried to figure out what are some solutions that we can do for this. So we've come up with 3 solutions and we're going to discuss those. Solution 1. Our marketing and public relations teams have a meeting. That meeting, they'll discuss if they should make commercials or if they should do another social media account. And the social media account would be to address all the complaints and stuff that is going on, kind of like we have going on with Vic. He said that he made up several tweets about it. We're trying to make it more known for everyone and not just people that happen to read the newspaper or articles online. Social media addresses everyone. Commercials are another thing that we're discussing. Commercials, they cost a little bit, but they are also a huge factor in everyday life because everyone sees commercials at some point during the day. Although the cost would be kind of expensive for a commercial, we're okay with that because we want to make sure that the benefits outweigh the cost. Also, another solution is to hire a new communication strategist. That person, they would take the new face of our communications, and we want to make sure that we're not representing ourselves in a negative way. So we're just going to completely take that name off, and we're going to try to start new. We know that there's some downsides to that, such as having to pay a lot more or give more benefits for that person, but we're willing to do that because this is a huge problem at hand, and we need to get a grasp on it. And our final solution, which I personally think, along with our team here, we believe that this is our best solution, is to go back to what we did in 2009, where the players, they would sit in the locker room while the national anthem was going on. That way they'd have more time to focus on their game, the reason that we're all there really, and the reason that we have all kinds of fans and people that pay money towards us. And for that, there would be no cost. It would be no problem at all, and with that, it would be the best solution for this controversial issue at hand. And we would like to thank you guys for sitting through this, and we hope that you guys will continue to support our fans as we go.